Good evening, Mark Sudduth, HurricaneTrack.com for Hurricane Pro in HD. I'm in New Smyrna Beach, Florida, where I am awaiting the arrival of Hurricane Matthew. I will be leaving the location. I'm in a condominium right on the ocean front. Obviously, I'm not going to be staying here much longer. Gentlemen on the internet got in touch with me and allowed me to stay here, and I really appreciate that. This is the latest look at the satellite picture. Obviously, there has been a degradation of the northwest side over here of Matthew, but that does not mean that the core has been impacted yet, and that is down here. And I'm going to show you this in a radar perspective in just a moment. It is headed for Freeport on Grand Bahama, and then eventually may make landfall up here in Florida somewhere, possibly along the Space Coast region. We'll have to just wait and see. It's now time to track it on radar. So if you have a favorite radar app, this is the time where you can start tracking this out of Miami and then eventually Melbourne. Looking at the National Hurricane Center information, the 5 p.m. update, 938 millibars for the pressure. The winds 140 miles per hour moving northwest at 14. Potentially disastrous impacts for Florida, and there certainly will be some major impacts further to the north from there as well. Look at this. Speaking of that, the watch warning graphic here from the Weather Service focusing on the southeast. You know, here's winter coming up here. Worry about that later. But look down here in the southeast. You have these flood potential areas in the Carolinas, and then a number of inland hurricane warnings. You know, my best advice, and I'm serious about this, you want to know what's going to happen in your area, I'm going to give you the secret. You go to weather.gov, G-O-V, put in your zip code, and read anything in red or that says alerts or anything in bold about hurricane local statements, updates, etc. for your local area, and you'll find out what you need to know about what impacts to expect for your area where you live. This is the storm surge map from the National Hurricane Center. Let me zoom out a little bit. This shows the areas of expected inundation if the center comes ashore at the time of high tide on its current intensity. This will get updated in about an hour or so. I may have a chance to update this again as well on a video. If not, it's also available at the National Hurricane Center site. So what we see here is once you get near the Space Coast, Daytona Beach and points south, first of all, south of Melbourne, the storm surge not too bad. But this area up here near Titusville, the Space Coast area, Port Orange, Daytona Beach, Palm Coast, we're talking about a big stretch of coastline. And what does it show? These areas right here in this red to orange color indicating surge values as high as 9 feet above ground level. So if you're 5 feet tall, that's 4 feet above your head. That's for real. That's above ground level. And then you look farther to the north. Surge inundating as well down some of the river systems inland from the coast here. And some of these lakes, this is a very dangerous situation for people that don't take it seriously. If you were told to evacuate, you probably should do so. You know, there's no reason to second guess and, well, let me just wait and see. Maybe it'll weaken. I understand. I do. People don't want to leave, but sometimes you have to. Moving up the coast into Georgia, storm surge potential up there also pretty significant. Let me zoom in just a little bit. Brunswick, Georgia, areas on north in the coastal counties here, the 6 coastal counties. Some of the areas here as well could see 6 to 9, maybe more, maybe 11 feet of storm surge. It just depends on the angle of attack, the tide cycle, and the intensity of the hurricane as it comes up. So again, I encourage you to take a look at this map on the National Hurricane Center's page under the advisory information. In fact, let me just show you where it is. You got the advisory here, the public advisory. You scroll down, and this is the watch warning graphic that shows you areas under watches and warnings for storm surge. But then this is the storm surge inundation map that you want to see. So check it out. You paid for it with your tax dollars. You might as well use it. So the radar, look at this. This is the radar composite all over the southeast. Heavy rain bands coming across all the way western, from the east to the west and the southwest into western Florida. That's what I was trying to say. So this has far-reaching impacts with heavy rain, but the wind and the worst of it really going to be out here, and all of this moving towards the Space Coast eventually, with a probable landfall later tonight. It's just going to get worse from here. I hope everybody's prepared. I'm going to be doing video updates as much as I can. You can follow along on hurricanetrack.com as well as on YouTube. I put my videos on YouTube. They feed into our app. It's called Hurricane Impact. And I will also be doing some video updates for you to watch in Hurricane Pro in HD. Be sure to follow Hurricane Pro HD on Twitter. They will retweet probably most of everything that I put up from here on out. A great partnership, and we both appreciate each other's efforts and our technological capabilities to get information out to you. From New Smyrna Beach, Florida, I am Mark Sudduth for HurricaneTrack.com and for Hurricane Pro in HD. Be safe out there. If you're in Florida, hunker down. Use common sense. I'll do the same. And I'll be in touch with you later on with more info.